Tubies. This is Psychic Bob. It is so rocking to be back with you. You guys are the best. I want to say thank you to all of you who came out to yesterday's video, which was Messages from the Spirit World. We had a really great turnout, a lot of fun. I really enjoyed doing those readings for all of you. So keep the letters coming. Next Tuesday, we'll have another one of those. And I also want to say thank you. I have been getting all of these submissions for our contest. Next Monday, we are going to have our drawing for our contest, which is to win a $50 gift certificate to RareWiccaSpells.com. So if you haven't entered, go ahead, go to my website at readings@robert-hickman.com and send me an email with your entry. Put 10,000 subscribers in the title and put in it your name, your telephone number, and your email that you want me to contact you at. And we're going to have a drawing next Monday, and whoever gets drawn, you get $50 gift certificate to shop at RareWiccaSpells.com. So thank you for all your submittals. Keep them coming. Well, here we are. It's September. And you know, next week we have Maybon, which is our big fall festival. It's the second harvest. And actually on Friday, we're going to talk about Maybon. So we're going to talk about how to set a Maybon altar on Friday. So, you know, make sure to be here for that. But today I want to talk about another type of altar. And this is an ancient style altar. It's called the Hearth Altar. For those of you who, well, maybe you're new to Wicca, or maybe you don't know anything about it. The ancient pagans, many of the ancient pagans used to honor the goddess through their hearth. At every home in the ancient times, you had a fireplace or a place where the meals were prepared and people would gather around the fire. And this became very much a sacred part of household life. And, you know, today we've lost really that tradition in many homes of the hearth altar. And, you know, if you wanted to set up a hearth altar in your house, now is a wonderful time to start to think about that, because as the weather's starting to turn, it's a good time to think about, where do you gather in your home? Where is your hearth? Now, traditionally, the hearth in the past has been around a stove or a fireplace area, but not everybody has fireplaces these days. I live in a high-rise condo, and so I have actually electric fireplaces in my home. I have a few different fireplaces, and you know, I thought, wow, I'm lucky because I was able to create a hearth area in my home. But not everybody can do that because they don't have a fireplace. But if you don't have a fireplace, don't let that stop you. Today I'm going to show you how to make your own little hearth altar, whether or not you have a fireplace. Okay? So we're going to explore that. So come on along. If you want to have a hearth altar in your house, the first thing to decide is, what is your hearth area? Now, you may recognize this chair here in this backdrop. This is where I sit and do messages from the spirit world in a lot of my videos. It's here in my living room in a corner by my big window. And next to that chair, I have my fireplace here, as you can see. I have to work on my fireplace. The light on it has gone out inside. But that's okay. Whether you can see the flames or not, it's still my hearth area. It's where I sit and I find warmth and comfort. Down here you'll notice my plant, Mr. Greenleaf. He's my big aloe who I saved from death and destruction. Now, once you've found what area you want to claim as your hearth area, now remember, you don't have to have a fireplace. You could have a little table in the area, and that would be perfectly fine, because today's modern hearth is more about where you gather and find safety and warmth than necessarily having a fireplace. So you may have a fireplace in your house where you say it's in a faraway area, I never sit there. Just because it's a fireplace doesn't mean it has to be your hearth unless you want it to be. But I happen to have a fireplace here in my favorite area. So the first thing is, you know, you want to clean that area. I had a lot of books and stuff piled up here. I'm notorious for that. And so now I'm just going to wipe this area down, just dust it, make it clean and fresh, just clear everything out, clear the clutter out, and make that area nice and bright. Isn't that wonderful? See, simple as can be. The next step that you want to do in setting up your hearth altar is to decide which goddess, to find a goddess image to put on your hearth. This is the goddess Bridget, and this is a statue I have of Bridget. You can see she's got the moon on her brow. Beautiful statue by Paul Borda. This is my hearth goddess. So now you don't have to have this statue. You can have any goddess that speaks to you. You could even actually have a hearth god, but it is traditional that the hearth is associated with a goddess. So if you want to be ultra traditional, you might want to choose a goddess. But I have goddess Bridget here, and she's going to be my hearth goddess. So I'm going to just put my hearth goddess here in the middle of my altar. Now, as I said, you don't have to spend a lot of money and have a statue. You could also equally have a picture. You could frame a picture that you print out off the internet and put that up. Or you can even, if you don't want to have a statue or a picture, you can even have just a rock, a big rock that you put on your altar, because rocks symbolize the Earth Mother. And it is from the Earth Goddess that the altars emerged. In the ancient days, they used to believe that under the earth was fire, that it was fire in the earth that gave life to all the plants. And so the early hearths, the stones, they were made of stone. Fireplaces were made of stone because it didn't burn. It could hold the fire, and it represented the goddess. So maybe for your hearth area, if you don't want to get a statue, you would get a rock, a big rock, a stone you might want to put there. So that's another option for you. Now, especially if you don't have a fireplace, the next thing that you want to do is create your own miniature fireplace. You're going to say, "Thank you, Bob, what are you talking about?" Well, check this out. This is very simple. What I found is a little tray. I bought this at the dollar store. Simple little nickel plated tray. Beautiful, looks like silver. Buy yourself a small little tray to put in your hearth area if you can. Now remember, I said you don't have to spend a lot of money. I would recommend you get something metal, preferably silver, silver plate, brass, or like this is nickel, because you want something that reflects light. Light is a big part of the altar. And then also compliments of the dollar store, I found this beautiful red glass votive holder. You want to have at least one light on your altar. Now, I would recommend that you have a few. So I have a few other votives. These are vintage, but I love them, and I've added these to my altar. This creates a nice, warm, glowing altar. Now, in addition, you may want to add sacred items also to your hearth area. For example, this is my earth stone. You may remember I gathered this from the river. And so I like the feeling of this earth stone. It connects me to the great Earth Mother. So I'm going to put this earth stone also on my altar. I also love the pentacle. It's a symbol of my faith. And so I'm also going to put on here these pentacle candle holders on each side of my lights. I actually ran out of taper candles, so I'll get taper for those later. But right now you can see we have the beautiful sign of the pentacle flanking the goddess and our illumination area. Now, part of having a hearth altar is also the offering of gifts to the hearth goddess. So here I've got a beautiful chalice that's a red chalice, which I just think is lovely. I like red in my hearth because it represents the warmth of the hearth and fire. You don't have to have red. You can have any color you like. But I've got this beautiful red hearth chalice. So I'm going to put that up here next to the goddess. I also have this beautiful crystal bowl that is wonderful for making offerings. So I'm going to put that also here by the goddess. Now to your altar you can also add many other things such as flowers. A lot of people put dried herbs in vases and put them near the altar. But just remember, if you have flames there, you want to try to keep stuff that's not easily flammable so you don't start a fire. That's why I predominantly metal and glass on my altar. But as you can see, we're building quite a nice altar. Now the next thing that you want to do is, after you have all your items, choose a night. It can be any night, but a night that's special to you. It might be the night of the full moon, or it might be on a Sabbath. For example, Mabon's coming. But you want to then dedicate your altar to your goddess. And you can use any prayer you want. And, bless your water. You might want to put a little salt on here. I didn't put any salt on today, but I should have. And then light your lights and dedicate them to the goddess. So I say, Great Bridget Goddess, I call you forth now. I ask you to be present in this flame. May we be blessed by you here at this altar. And may your light shine, bring us warmth, safety, and many blessings. Put some incense on your altar as well. You can offer that. But as you see, now we have a beautiful, glowing altar. And in the evening time, you can set to sit by your altar. I'm going to dim the lights in here just a little bit here so you can kind of see the glow. And here you can see our beautiful, luminous altar. Isn't that lovely? And in the night when it's really dark, it's very comforting to sit in this sacred place with this gentle glow. So guys, as you can see, it's not so hard to make your own little hearth area, your hearth altar. And I tell you, with the winter coming, it's going to be a real blessing to have my hearth here right by my chair. And all winter long, I'll bask in its warmth. I'll reflect on the goddess. And I'll do a little magic every single day. Just the lighting of the hearth was considered an act of magic. And so whenever you create your hearth and you light it, you are participating in an ancient ritual that goes back thousands and thousands of years. So I hope this has brought you some inspiration today. I've certainly enjoyed being here with you and sharing this. And I hope that you'll consider exploring setting up your own hearth altar. And if you do that, would you maybe make a video? Maybe you'd share it here and we could see it as well. Sure love to see it. You guys rock. Listen, keep it here at Spirit Channel. We got more coming. If you haven't been to my website today, go there and get your horoscopes at robert-hickman.com. Free daily horoscopes. They're my creation. You won't get them anywhere else. Not like mine. Okay. Anyways, keep your letters coming. We'll be back here tomorrow on Thursday. Tomorrow we have Zodiac Thursday. We're going to talk about all the alignments in the sky and what's going on. So definitely be back here for that. In the meantime, I hope you'll like this video, favorite, share it with your friends. Let's get out the word about Spirit Channel. And if you haven't done so, hit subscribe. We'd sure love you to be here with us. Thanks so much, guys. I send you my blessings. Love you all. Blessed be.